Good evening, everyone, and welcome into the HearSports podcast show. I'm Kyle Newman, your host.
And I'm Rhett Hensley, your co-host.
On this show, anything sports goes.
Anything.
Whether professional, college, or even high school. Debate is highly likely. Laughter is always encouraged.
Laughter is encouraged.
Good times is a given.
It's a given.
And hashtag Great Sports Talk will be a reoccurring theme.
Great Sports reoccurring theme.
For all of you Twitter lovers. Today we will talk about the NBA offseason, the FedEx Cup Playoffs, and the upcoming NFL season. Rhett Hensley, let's try this again for our 13th HearSports podcast show. Ladies and gentlemen, we had the show set and done last night, but there was a technical difficulty with the Skyping session, and we basically did it for nothing, so we're now doing it again a couple days late. We apologize, but nonetheless, Rhett, we're here late at night, awake, ready to go. How are you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing fabulous. There is nothing that gets better than talking about some great sports with a great friend.
That's right, Rhett. I appreciate those kind words. Same here. Especially after a long day at work. Why not come home and talk sports? That makes it great. You've been wanting to do it all day. You're thinking about sports. Things come up. You get breaking news and everything, and you don't hear about it, but until you talk with your co-host on the HearSports podcast show, because yes, ladies and gentlemen, we transition here into the first segment, NBA offseason news, and my co-host, Rhett Hensley, has some breaking news for all of us. Rhett, what has happened?
It's very big news, breaking news. Allegations with Derrick Rose being sued by a woman who claims Superstar and his two friends gang raped her and drugged her. She has filed a lawsuit, and things are going to transpire from there. It came out first on Bleacher Report News, and, it's something that is very unfortunate for the Bulls organization and Derrick Rose. For his sake, you better hope this is, being falsely accused, but from her detailed explanations, it does not seem that way.
Yeah,
so,
this is very disturbing and unfortunate. The situation here is, it's gone both ways in sports. You've had people who lie because of the famous athletes wanting to get them for what they owe, or for their money, their due. Maybe they leave them, whatever it is behind the scenes. And
2 years later.
Yeah.
2 years later, she files the allegations. And from my own opinion, who knows if this is even true. This could come from, it happens all the time. People trying to get money from these pro athletes. And
they'll do anything. And again, this is speculation, folks. We don't know what it is, but many times we've seen where it is a take advantage type of a situation where you lie to the media to bring these athletes out in the focus and try and get them for their money. It could be that situation, or it could be, frankly, the other side, which would be awful if it is true, and Derrick Rose will certainly pay the price and have to suffer the consequences.
Exactly.
As a fan of Derrick Rose, I would hope this is not true. He does not seem like the type of guy who would do something like this, but then again, you never know. That's the thing.
Exactly.
So hopefully it's not true. Definitely not the breaking news I was expecting. But
exactly.
It's a very negative light that, quite frankly, the Bulls organization does not need. And it being in the division here, with our Pacers, how is this going to play out? Will this be a big distraction? Depending on how it plays out, to drop the Bulls down.
Yes, it's definitely a Nathan Scott situation here.
As he pulls a reference to One Tree Hill.
Thank you.
He loves that show, folks.
Yes, but who knows? It's something. What we're stating here is he is being sued currently. Nothing has been set in stone whether it's actually true or not. It has been from 2 years ago. The reason why she's just now claiming it, she is saying that she was embarrassed and ashamed of the situation. So it's something. It's speculation right now, and we won't find out for quite some time if she actually goes through with it or if he pays her off.
Yeah, who knows? But that is the most recent breaking news that we have here. Rhett, kind of talk about some of the other things that have been going on in the off season here in the NBA.
Well, this one's just a fun fact. LBJ sells his Miami crib for $13.4 million this offseason.
Pretty penny, but boy, we love Miami, Florida.
I know, it's great. It's great. And the long-awaited, and I say long-awaited, Kyle, the sit-down with Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal that has been waited for years and years to see, with the bad blood between them, what was going on. They finally sit down together this offseason, and they talk. Kyle. And, one thing that is just great from Kobe Bryant, I mean, he's a good guy that he understands when he does something wrong, and I'm just going to quote him from this feud that they had. He said during his interview, "Here's the thing, though. When you say it at the first time, you actually mean it. And then when you get older, you have more perspective. And you're like, holy shit, I was an idiot when I was a kid. To me, the most important thing was really just to keep your mouth shut. You don't need to go to the press with stuff. You need to be internal, and we have our arguments and our disagreements. But I think having our debates within the press was something I wish would have been avoided. But did kind of create that whirlpool around us as a team with myself and Shaq and the press and the media. That just put some much pressure on us as an organization." And, as that is said, Kyle, could they have won more championships with that? With this, if they would have kept it internal and Shaquille O'Neal staying within the organization, it's something that I think that other players in this NBA right now can build off of because, kind of like Roy Hibbert's situation, him taking it out of the locker room and taking it to the media was just not good a couple of years ago. And when you see players do this anymore, it is not good for the team. It hurts the chemistry, and, things should be more in the locker room situation and take care of it man-to-man, instead of going to the media and blasting it for everybody to hear.
When did Kobe say that?
He said that, I believe, this morning on the big podcast with Shaq.
So that was with Shaq that he said that.
Podcast. Yes, he sat down with Shaq.
Wow, that's interesting news. Was a long-awaited thing to occur between the two, where they have had beef for a while, and it was clear that they weren't friends or whatever, and yeah, that's kind of what you got the gist of it. And it's sad, really, because early on, in their run that they had, their title run, they were friends. Sure, they were superstars and had their disagreements and all on the court, but they had fun, and there's plenty of videos to back that up as teammates. But maybe, this is something that sheds light on the situation. Yeah, it just goes to show what can create how something that may seem so little that Shaq did can end up really affecting someone with how they feel.
Exactly.
And when you're talking about anything with the media, that's how it goes. When you're talking about, you got to be careful with what you say, because it will get blown up and it will be continued to talk about and reach every media outlet. And so I can understand where Kobe is coming from for sure. But it is a shame that that's kind of what broke it up as them having chemistry issues, because who knows how many more they could have won. I mean, they are one of the greatest duos of all time. So that is very intriguing. I'll have to catch that interview, but that is another awesome bit of breaking news, Rhett, here that you're bringing the NBA offseason.
Oh yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. I was pretty excited when I saw that. But another thing of news, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist signs an extension with the Hornets. He says he's not in for the money, so he did take I believe, a smaller deal than what he feels that he was worth. So, which the deal was worth $52 million over 4 years. I don't know how much more he's worth, but he is a great defensive player. Might have a weird shot, but hey.
Many people do. Whatever works.
Exactly.
Well, there's a couple that I'll throw in here as off season. Is one of them that I think is just another incredible. How do the Cavs pull the move off like this, and everyone follows?
Could you repeat that one?
Yeah, Mo Williams has been reacquired by the Cleveland Cavaliers, so he's going to be joining a loaded team. This is a 2-year, $4.3 million contract. A brilliant signing by Cleveland. I'm curious, Rhett, what you think on this, because I think this is a big signing for them to add veteran depth.
Yeah, I think it's very unfortunate for the Indiana Pacers, that we can feel for that, Kyle. That's Mo Williams is a great player, and having him off the bench is going to create great things for their bench, because last year their bench was not that strong. Most of their points came from the starters. You basically had to have LeBron James or Kyrie Irving in at all times. You couldn't have them out, not at the same time. So I think it's going to help their bench performance, and people are going to be able to build off that.
Yeah. No doubt. So that's something that stood out to me. Another one, I thought it was a big signing for Milwaukee, a team that's improving a lot, but they signed Greg Monroe. Maybe a little bit bigger of a contract than he's worth, but 3-year, $49 million contract. I still think it's a big signing. This man has given everything since he was taken by the Pistons a few years ago, and he is really impressed. Can rebound the basketball like crazy. Good defender. Decent post moves. Rhett, what do you think about this signing for an improving Milwaukee Bucks team?
I think it was a little too expensive, a little too rich for my blood. But I think it's going to help their team out. The Milwaukee Bucks are a phenomenal young team, and adding Greg Monroe is going to be even the icing on the cake. And they will be in the playoffs this year, and I think that they will make a little bit of a run. So, better watch out for this team coming into the season.
Well, yes, last year they gave the Bulls everything in the first round, and in a comeback fashion, and
that's just
really
a young team.
Were a player or two away from winning that series. So they are a young team that's improving a lot. So. That's why something like that really stood out to me. Something that has to be mentioned because it has to deal with our Indiana Pacers.
Whoop, whoop.
How about Indiana revamping around Monte Ellis signing and Miles Turner, Rhett?
Oh, I actually thought you were going somewhere else with that one. Yeah, I think it's great. Well, I will touch on that right after this. I think it's great. Miles Turner, he phenomenal player so far from what I've seen in the off season. He's been working hard this off season also. I'm liking how the whole team has really been practicing together when they didn't even have to. They were just in there getting shots up. But it's great. Monte Ellis, haven't heard much of him this off season, but somebody that's going to be able to bring in for the Indiana Pacers and knock down some shots. Might lack in the defensive area, but we got Frank Vogel to stay on him with that. And I think it's going to be great. Great Pacers season up ahead.
Absolutely. So the other thing, Rhett, that I take away from this is the Indiana Pacers needed a signing like Monte Ellis. We've talked about it a lot. But not only averaging 19 points per game is going to help offensively, where Indiana hasn't been the greatest in NBA ranks over the last several years. It's been defense, so that will help. But the other deal with Miles Turner, this was a guy who you know when he was signed, I don't know what exactly I was expecting from him. Young out of Texas. It's always one of those scary moves where you're one and done. How's it going to work out? But he has great size. He can shoot the ball from downtown. He has great post moves. Definitely a turnaround jump shot like a Dirk Nowitzki. I think he'll pan out, and I think he will turn out to be very a very productive player for the Indiana Pacers to add great depth. So that is definitely one of the offseason moves that I think is top 5 worthy, even though a lot of people aren't giving them the respect they deserve. That's how it's always been. I think it'll prove to be. And the last one that I really have here, Rhett, is the Washington Wizards, a team who's been improving each year, have now replaced Paul Pierce with more veteran depth, but they get 3 for 1 here. I think this is a phenomenal signing. Pairs, let's say a trio here for them. Jared Dudley, Alan Anderson, and Gary Neal. All veterans. Gary Neal, an NBA champion. Rhett, what do you think about these signings for the improved Wizards?
Well, I think I don't really think it's a great improvement to the team. Like I said before, Gary Neal, not too bad. Jared Dudley, a dud.
A little better than a dud.
But, I'm not really a big fan of Jared Dudley. But, they might help. I thought Paul Pierce was basically the heart and soul of that team last year. He kept them going. So, I think they lost something there. But, I think in all honesty, I think they should have kept him. So...
See, here's the thing. I don't think that they lost too much. Paul Pierce is getting older.
You just don't like him.
I don't. I don't like him. I will go on record saying I don't care for Paul Pierce.
I don't either.
But having said that, he got hot when it mattered toward playoff time. He did not have a great season during the regular season. The man's been injured. He's been battling it. He's getting older. I think that it was time to move on from him. I think the Wizards made a smart decision here. They gained more than they lost. There's no doubt about it in my mind with Paul Pierce going. Let's face it. This Jared Dudley, first of all, a 40% career three-point shooter, 30 years old. I think he's going to be a key guy in this trio in his 10th year. Gary Neal, nothing has to be said about him. When the Spurs won the title, a lot of it had to do with Gary Neal's presence coming off the bench and firing this team up. He is a very solid, underrated player that will add veteran depth. Alan Anderson, the forward who can drain threes like no other, and has really been a force the past years for the Pelicans. So, this guy will also add depth. I think that they gain more than they lose here by far. And I think that they're going to keep improving.
Well, the thing with Paul Pierce is it's the fact that he's a veteran and he brings that experience. Even if he's not playing, he's still mentoring the team. And, I think that really helped them out this year. Because, they are a young team. So it always helps to have that good veteran player there that can mentor these players, especially a guy that has some championships under his belt too.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Definitely think the Wizards won out here. Now the Clippers, that'll be very, very interesting to see how that plays out, because this Clippers team is already loaded with stars and veterans and all. Now you add Paul Pierce to the mix to that team. I have a feeling, my gut feelings tell me that's going to work out not in the favor of everyone in that organization when you have him and you have Chris Paul, Blake Griffin. So, I really just don't see that working out well for the Clippers. I don't see them gaining much.
I hope it doesn't work
he's
out.
He's a veteran, champion. I just don't see it. I don't even know if he'll start. Doubtful.
Yeah, it is doubtful that he'll start, but who knows? We'll see. We'll see. He wanted to finish with Doc.
Yes, he did. Great coach he is. That's for sure. And go back to where he's from, apparently. So that's going to be another headline to look out for. And
he also did sign an absurd contract. I think it was like 3 years. 3-year contract, so he plans on staying a while. Surprisingly.
Yeah. If he can stay healthy, that'd be a miracle. Some people just do not know when to walk away from the game. I guess that is clear.
The crazy thing was he was not sure if he was going to come back this season. And then he decides to come back and then, I guess, stay 3 more years, which is kind of weird. But
something that could end up happening with Kobe Bryant. That will be great to see. Will the man want to re-sign again and stay longer? Will he have a successful, healthy year? I'm hoping so. But
yeah, hopefully.
That will be another headline to look out for. Aside from that, Rhett, I only have a couple more. Do you have any more?
I have one more. The Indiana Pacers have signed and partnered with Vincennes Hospital to create the new Pacers practice facility. And boy, the mock looks amazing. Talking about Kyle, let's bring the boys for some 5-on-5. The place looks amazing.
Yeah, that would be nice. Something we will be talking about on the Pacers show tomorrow night. That is a very nice facility. It was approved quickly, within a week. So they had no problem getting the funds there for that and get that in a nice location in the city. That's exciting and something, quite frankly, I don't know if a lot of NBA teams have. I don't know if they have separate training facility.
The thing is with that is they said that the Pacers are one of the few to actually have their own training facility.
There you go. I guess the more and more stud stars the Pacers get, the more and more they need to expand, because this is the place to come. Quite honestly, this is another recruiting aspect, if you will, to come to the Indiana Pacers. You had a nice new training facility showing that Indiana basketball means business, and they are investing into the players here. If they call it home, they have everything they need and more. They're getting taken care of. So I look at it from that aspect as well. That is some nice news. Other than that, though, as the preseason nears in about a month or so, and the season just a couple months away, boy, we can't wait for that. There isn't a whole lot of other news except for some trade rumors. Now that the free agent signings have been taken care of, now becomes there's a couple other names out there that something may happen, and one of them is a man by the name of Markieff Morris, a hothead for the Phoenix Suns, who does have a good game, but is an organization and team player chemistry nightmare. Rhett, he has straight out told
speculation
this organization that he wants nothing to do with the Suns and he won't talk to players or staff. It's not a good situation. What do you see going down with him and the Suns?
I agree with him. Kyle, and this is why. They did him dirty. They did him very dirty. He signed the contract to stay with his brother, with the Suns, and they were well aware of that both of them wanted to stay together. And right after signing, they ship his brother off. They did him dirty, and if I was him, I wouldn't want anything to do with that. If an organization is going to turn on you like that, then might as well just toss them to the side.
So his brother got traded, had no say in the matter? It wasn't a choice?
No, it was not a choice. They just shipped him off. So, I see that in his organization, and I feel like that's wrong to do. Because the fact is, they could have, just told them straight up that they were going to end up, if they signed, that they were going to, trade him. But instead of doing that, they let him sign and screw his other brother over.
Wow. Well, it's understandable you sign something and you expect something, that's for sure. It's expected that he will be traded, so the question becomes where. I still did not want a guy like this on the Indiana Pacers. As we had talked about that before, and it had been thrown out there, he's just not the type of guy that I think fits for Indiana's organization. He has a hot head. He has issues with arguing with players and the coaches, and I think he's just a team chemistry nightmare. I think he's a selfish player about half the time. And
so we're talking about Kobe.
I think that's enough. No, we're talking about Markieff Morris.
Oh, okay. I got.
There's a little difference in the two. And
yeah, one of them's got rings and one of them doesn't.
That's right, and they play different positions.
Exactly.
The thing is, Markieff, I did not want to see in a Pacers uniform at all, or a player like that in general. So I don't want to see him getting traded to the Pacers now for some player. That's what I'm basically trying to say here.
Apparently,
but where? I don't know. Probably a West Coast team.
Apparently, it would have turned out to have Bad Blood anyway, reference to a Taylor Swift song.
That's unfortunate.
Because one of them got traded away, the other one wouldn't be very happy, and they would cause a collision there. So, that was probably a good chemistry move for the Indiana Pacers not to do that, and the poor sap that ends up with him might be in for a world of trouble also.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true, and the thing is, that was just one of the two trade possibilities here from fairly bigger names. This next one's a guy that I'd love to see in an Indiana Pacers uniform. I've been saying it for about 2 years
Kevin
now.
Love?
No.
Oh.
The man's name is Jamal Crawford from the Los Angeles Clippers. Jamal Crawford is a two-time NBA Sixth Man of the Year. He's coming off a season where he averaged 16 points off the bench on a star-studded team. This man hits game winners. This man has moves and handles with the balls like the Globetrotters. I love this player, and I would love to see him come off the bench for the Indiana Pacers. Will it happen? I don't know. He'll probably get re-signed by the Clippers. I can't imagine they have any money left. But this is something that has been talked about. But what do you think about this situation with Jamal Crawford?
Oh, yeah. I'd love to see the Indiana Pacers get that, even though they couldn't afford him. But,
No. They'd have to trade for him, obviously, for a player of the type of money.
Unless he would be a nice, kind man and take a league minimum for 1 year. That'd be great. That'd be great. Pull a David West.
Yeah,
Pull David West.
I just don't see it happening. And here's the thing: we start to talk about players who I'd give up for Jamal Crawford. Well, I don't know about that either.
Chase Budinger. See ya.
No.
For the love of gosh.
The thing is, you throw in a Chase Budinger and maybe someone like
Jan May. No, can't. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you start to throw some of these guys that we've talked about ousting. Then it'd be something to consider. Of course, that would never happen. It would have to be for a player like a Rodney Stuckey or a George Hill, someone, because that's how productive and worthy this Jamal Crawford is. But I don't know. He's a player I'd love to see in a Pacers uniform, regardless. So I don't know. I think he may get. I think he might want to be traded with what has happened with them signing Paul Pierce and all.
Totally skipped on Lance Stevenson.
Yeah, Lance Stevenson as well, another guy in
Sir
LA.
Lance.
So holy cow, you talk about selfish players on that team and stars. This is really, really interesting here. Jamal Crawford, though, do you think he gets traded, Rhett?
I think there's great potential for that to happen.
Will it be to the Indiana Pacers?
Probably not.
So we're in agreement, though, that we believe he gets traded. That's the bottom line here. So, Rhett, the NBA offseason news, essentially, that's it. Since all those free agent signings have occurred, you've hit us with some knowledge, with a couple new breaking news. So now we move on from the NBA, and we transition into one of our favorite sports, probably our favorite to play, next to basketball.
Football?
And that would be...
Just kidding.
Golf!
Golf.
Go play! This is a sport that we love, and we love to talk about it. We love to get out on those old links. We love the beautiful weather in the morning, the early tee time, the dew on the greens. It is a beautiful sport. Yes, we are talking the PGA Tour. We're specifically talking the FedEx Cup as it starts this weekend with the Barclays tomorrow, Rhett. So before we get into it, I'll have to give a little background on exactly what the FedEx Cup is, because a lot of fans don't know what it is. So I will hit you with some knowledge. The FedEx Cup Playoffs determine the season-long champion on the PGA Tour. There are 4 playoff events in this tournament of the FedEx Cup. It starts with the Barclays this weekend. It's an accumulating season-long points competition from 43 events during the 39-week PGA Tour season, starting it starts in October with the Fries.com Open, and it ends in mid-August with the Wyndham Championship, which just ended last weekend. And, Rhett, on a little side note, Tiger Woods didn't make the FedEx Cup playoffs because he came so close at this Wyndham Championship last weekend, where he was actually in second place after Saturday, but the man petered a little bit, shot a 70 on the final day. Not terrible, but he had his opportunities. Rhett likes to say he chokes. I like to say that he just got beat by the competition. And he
shot even for the day, Shooting even for the day is not going to win you a championship. He choked, Kyle. He choked. He was 13 under. The leader had 15 under or something like that. Tiger had a great opportunity to win that. 17 under was still
4 strokes back from the winner.
Still,
Tiger Woods was there. Here's what I take. Yes, his season's over, but he has promise. He has some momentum going into next year.
Haven't we heard that one before?
Year with a top 5 finish, which we had not seen even close to of him lately. So what do you do if you're Tiger Woods? You stick with the swing. You stick with the same coach. You work hard during the off season, and you come ready to play and win the 2016 Masters.
The one right before the U.S. Open, he was close. I think he tied for 18th.
Exactly. He had a couple good tournaments this year. But Tiger
Yeah, I
Woods'
mean,
issue has been changing
you thought
coaches and swings.
you thought he was back. One,
I
he
still
shot.
believe.
Oh my gosh!
I still believe.
Thought he
Listen,
was back, Kyle. You
this
thought he was
man,
back, and he's going to let you down once again.
No, this man's
Just don't
a true
get your
champion.
hopes up. I don't want
All
you.
right?
I don't want to see you get your hopes up. And
I'm going to believe in him, Rhett, until he wins again. Because let's face it, the man has it in him. The 14-time major champion, the greatest golfer of all time in my mind. This guy is going to be just fine. He will come ready to play. What he needs to do is he needs to hit the fairways, and he needs to improve his putting from 6 feet and in. If he can do that, we will see. We won't see the old Tiger Woods again, but we may see a Tiger Woods that can still win tournaments and win majors. That's what I'm hoping for. And he gave a glimpse of it, Rhett, going into the offseason, riding off in the sunset with a top 5 finish at the Wyndham. But, however, he needed to finish.
He can keep riding off.
He needed to finish second in this tournament to make the FedEx Cup playoffs. He didn't, so he's out. One of the biggest names in golf out. But there's plenty of other ones. It is. Again, PGA Tour season, 43 events in 39 weeks, all leading up to the FedEx Cup playoffs, which begins with the Barclays this weekend, and then goes to New York, goes to Boston with the Deutsche Bank Championship, then the BMW Championship in Chicago, and then a reset, the top 30 players, the PGA Tour Championship in Atlanta, where the FedEx Cup champion will be crowned. Rhett, it's interesting how it goes. Yes.
Atlanta's pretty close.
Atlanta's not too far, Rhett. All right, it's an easy road trip for what we've done. But here's the thing. You've got points. You win the tournaments, you get the most points during the year. That's the gist of it. You win the majors, you get even more. But, Rhett, when you get to these playoff tournaments, the points quadruple. So never feel safe where you are in those standings. Jordan Spieth in first place right now, FedEx Cup standings, 41.69 points. He's almost 2,000 points ahead of Jason Day, but yet in one tournament, if Jason Day wins, the Barclays could be in the lead. That's how much the tide can change. So, yes, Jordan Spieth, the man that has played in 21 events and won 4 times, including 2 majors, could still not win the FedEx Cup. You still got to play your top golf in these playoff events. So they really – I like how they do this, right? I like how they make it fair. They give everyone a chance going into it. Nothing's set in stone. When you get to these playoff tournaments, the first one, you've got all of whoever's in the FedEx Cup playoffs, everyone who qualified, the 150 plus or whatever. But after the Barclays, cuts start to happen. All right, it starts with the Barclays, 125 players, the top 125 in the FedEx Cup. Then you get to the Deutsch, and it's now the 100 players. Then the BMW, it's 70. Until finally, the final playoff tournament, Rhett, the Tour Championship, it's a reset. The top 30 players play.
Whistling Straits.
Whistling Straits. What about Whistling Straits?
That's where it's at, right?
No. It is in Atlanta this year. You must be looking at last year's. That's okay.
2015 PGA Championship at Whistling Straits.
Yeah, that's where it was. That was the last major of the year. We're talking about the PGA Tour Championship, the last playoff tournament for the FedEx Cup, which is in Atlanta, which is still a month away. But, Rhett, 30 players, I still love how this is set up. That makes it for one tight group pairing where you can see everybody if it's pairs of 3.
Oh, yeah.
I think I've got Rhett miscombobulated here. He's a little confused.
You got me a little confused. I'm a little confused on this Whistling Straits issue.
Well, that was where the PGA Championship, the final major, was just played 2 weeks ago.
I totally understand that.
I'm talking about the PGA Tour Championship.
All right, now I'm totally on.
Yes, the PGA Tour Championship is the fourth and final playoff event in the FedEx Cup Playoffs. It is in Atlanta this year, and the FedEx Cup champion is crowned there. But what I was saying is the top 30 players, it gets reset for that final tournament. Only 30 players in a final tournament to determine the champion. What do you think about that?
30 players, that is great because you could watch everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone has a fair shot.
Yes, everybody does. And you get to watch everybody. That's freaking fantastic.
It is fantastic.
It's something that doesn't get to happen very often.
No.
And it's going to be a great, great event.
That's right.
Especially down Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta, absolutely. Basically, the thing is, this is the PGA, the professional sport, just like every other professional organization. League has their trophy, their champion of the sport, cream of the crop. This is golf's, the FedEx Cup. And you know what, Rhett? You'd be hard-pressed to not think that Jordan Spieth is going to be hoisting that FedEx Cup the way he's been playing. Having said that, Jason Day just won the PGA Championship. Some may say he's the favorite going into the Barclays, the first playoff tournament this weekend. So what do you think, Rhett? The Barclays starting tomorrow. Who has the best chance to win the first playoff tournament?
That big boy Spieth.
See, he says he's his boy, but apparently Rory McIlroy's his boy.
No.
This
I mean
fan
my boy
here,
Spieth.
folks.
When I like Spieth, but the man is hot. You can't. I'd love to put Rory McIlroy up there, which he is my number 2 spot, so don't get past that. So,
you're picking
Spieth.
Rory to finish second at the Barclays.
Hell yeah!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Rhett has lost his mind.
Oh, coming from the one that still thinks Tiger Woods is going to have a comeback. Yeah.
Retweet if you think Tiger Woods will win another major. Favorite if you don't. All right, listen. Here's the thing, Rhett. That is insane. Accept your first statement. I agree. Jordan Spieth's the favorite going into this Barclays to win it the way he's been playing. Jason Day is second, the way he's been playing. That's almost a toss-up. Although I did just hear some breaking news about him. Apparently he just suffered an injury, but is good to go tomorrow for the tournament. So it wasn't vertigo
Jordan
again.
Spieth.
The poor guy has had vertigo twice this year. You know what? It is an official update. He is withdrawn from the Barclays with a back injury. So Jason
he's
Day
really going to get second place, huh?
Yeah,
What?
it's official then.
The E-Class with 11
the injuries that he's been bothered by this year, it just seems by another one has set him back. Let's see. No, you know what?
Oh, gosh, Kyle, what is your story here?
Well,
What are we going off of?
I need to understand it exactly. It says that he withdrew from the Wednesday Pro-Am at the Barclays after tweaking his back. This is why I got confused. This is what I heard today. The Wednesday, the Pro-Am is the day before the tournament starts, and he had to withdraw from it because of the tweaked back. But I heard that he is going to be okay to play tomorrow as he gears for the FedEx Cup playoffs. Apparently nothing will keep him out. That's what I heard today on the Golf Channel. So he was out today, should be good tomorrow, but that would be a difference maker. If the man's playing Rhett, he's second in my mind in how he'll play. Rory McIlroy, he surprised me at the PGA Championship. I give him props for the way he played after that injury in his first tournament back. But it's not no asinine spot like second is what is going to happen with Rory McIlroy. Now, I can expect Rory McIlroy to maybe finish in the top 20. Sure.
Oh, that's just disrespectful.
You know what? I'm going to put Ricky Fowler for Fowler flat bills
Oh,
ahead of him because I love him.
Somebody that chokes every time you're going to put before Rory McIlroy. That is just asinine.
Bubba Watson, Bubba Button-Ups will finish ahead of Rory McIlroy as well.
All right,
I like the way
he's just going on record. He's just trying to tick me off.
He played at the PGA Championship. He played well, folks, at the PGA Championship. I like his chances, all right? Zach Johnson.
Reach through the camera and just strangle him.
A man at the PGA Championship, Zach Johnson, who really struggled, the Open champion this year. I think he will have a bounce back in the Northeast here. He will play well at the Barclays, Rhett. He will be up there. Your boy Adam Scott, I think he'll bounce back from the PGA. I think he'll be up there.
Glad you think so. I don't.
So he has no faith in his man.
I think that he will for the first couple of days. Final day.
But let me give you my biggest name. My man, Phil Mickelson will finish in the top 5 at the Barclays. This man who played well the last 2 majors, I think that he will get over that hump. The Mr. Callaway repper himself, which Rhett loves, Phil Mickelson will be a birdie man in this tournament, and he will be hanging right around there. I wouldn't be surprised if he wins it, Rhett. He's 31st on the FedEx Cup standing. He needs to improve, and he needs to be finished in the top 5, top 10 to gain some ground in the standings. I expect Phil Mickelson, the great champion that he is, to play well, Rhett. What about you?
I expect him to play pretty decent.
There we go.
I expect him to play pretty decent. I don't expect him to be a top 20 finish.
Well, Rhett, that's just disrespectful. We're talking about Phil Mickelson.
What? How high is he on the ranking?
31st. Listen.
Okay.
I'm sorry, folks. He's actually 51st. Phil Mickelson.
I was actually thinking that was a little too far up.
That's in Sergio's range, 31st or so. Again, Sergio Garcia. Is there anything to say about that man besides he just really can't get it done and is a choker?
Oh gosh, yeah, that's Sergio for you.
Yes, it is.
Sergio.
Yes, it is. So there you have it. There's our predictions. Each week we'll continue to talk about these 4 tournaments until the FedEx Cup champ is crowned. And then pretty soon after that, Rhett, the new season starts for golf already next year. It's a beautiful thing. You know, Tiger could even end up playing in a tournament and winning in 2016 before it's even 2016 in the Phoenix Open in Scottsdale. How about that? I'm expecting it, folks.
Things could fly.
Right. I'm going on record. Forget what I said earlier. You know what? I don't know what had happened about a month ago. I'm sticking with it. Tiger Woods will win another major. You know what? He's going to win another major. He's going to win several more tournaments. Tiger Woods will end up surpassing Jack Nicklaus with the all-time majors. I predict him to get to 19 or 20. How about a beautiful 20, Rhett?
I would hope. I would like that.
It's official.
I'd like to see him.
I am sticking to my gun. I let Rhett get to me a month ago or so on a couple shows when he did not believe in Tiger to get it done. I'm sticking with my gun. Tiger Woods wins more majors, Rhett.
You know, I would love to see that, Kyle. I'd love to see that because I do know that he is the greatest golfer of all time. Now, with that said, I'm not the biggest fan of him. But, you know, I think that he will be one of the greatest golfers to ever live.
Well,
I'll agree with you on that, Kyle.
Well, that's good. I'm glad we're in some agreement, Rhett. I'm glad we're
glad
in
we're
some
in
agreement.
cahoots.
Absolutely. So there you have it. The golf side. We'll continue with that talk. But for now, as the show winds down, we have to transition to our final segment here. And that's some NFL football on NBC. Red Hensley, Monday Night Football. not far away. It's all here. Sunday Night Football, your Cowboys open the season up against the Giants. Go Giants. You know, it's not far, Rhett. We're happen to dig through the preseason, which you can't stand. So we're going to kind of skip over the preseason talk because both of our teams are 0-2 right now. And you know what? Quite frankly, we might only finish with 2 losses in the regular season. So it's okay. But we do want to talk.
Kyle.
We do. Well, actually, with the breaking news of Orlando Scandrick being out for the season for the Cowboys, I'm even firmer on my position. They finished 3rd in the division. You know, it's a typical Cowboy team. 8-8 at best.
Oh my gosh. That's just disrespectful. I show some respect to the Indianapolis Colts.
It's true. Listen, Rhett, you called me earlier you wanted to rant about it. Orlando Scandrick, he was one of the best defenders on your Cowboys team.
But, you know, you also have Morris Claiborne that's going to be coming in there. Or you got Brandon Carr, I believe, got traded. He left.
He gone.
So, you know,
you
Morris
have
Claiborne.
Sean Lee. Your big
he's not a corner. He's not a cornerback.
You're a
though.
linebacker. You've got other good defensive players.
You got Claiborne. He's going to be taking that position just fine. So
Scandrick was good. Claiborne was all over last year. Scandrick was the best. I'm going. I think that he was the best defender on that Cowboys team last year. He was their defensive leader. That hurts. And guess what, Rhett? It happened not in a preseason game. It happened in practice.
Yep. Stupid.
That is very unfortunate. Kind of like my Colts, your Cowboys are notorious for having an injury like that happen before the season even starts and it being a catastrophic one.
Mm-hmm.
That is unfortunate, but it's a setback for your Cowboys. Yeah, they lose some more games now, for sure. So that's how that goes. Plus, they don't have DeMarco Murray. You guys got a weak running back position. That stands out to me. You know, you're not very deep at the running back position. That's going to hurt. Tony Romo probably won't stay healthy. Dez Bryant's going to be triple teamed. It's going downhill for Reds Cowboys, folks.
Cole Beasley, Jason Witten, Dez Bryant. That's all you need.
Well, we'll see if that's all they need.
Give them the ball.
That's right. I guess it's going to depend on if their quarterback, Tony Romo, can have another healthy season. Because I'm sure you wouldn't want Brandon Weeden to be throwing them the football.
Are you kidding me? I thought he showed some potential last year when he played in the game.
Baloney.
I thought he had some potential.
Well,
he had some potential.
As we talk about our teams here, it's kind of the focus. We got to talk about the strength of schedules, okay? And I'm going to start it off. You know, I'll do the top 5, the toughest strength of schedule. You can do the top 5 least toughest. So I'm going to start it off. Number 1, the team that has the most difficult road to the Super Bowl this year is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Rhett's rival, our rival, the Colts' rival. When I say our rival, I'm talking about me. Can't stand it. Can't stand them. The Pittsburgh Steelers have the toughest schedule, followed by a team in the AFC North, the Cincinnati Bengals, followed by Colin Kaepernick's San Francisco 49ers, and then the Seattle Seahawks out of the NFC West, and then the Arizona Cardinals at number 5 out of the NFC West. Rhett, you have 3 teams there in the NFC West with the toughest schedules in the top 5 there. That goes to show you that the NFC West is one tough division.
Yeah, the West is.
Yes, it is. And so that is where the toughest schedules stand. I will say this because the St. Louis Rams are going to be one improved team. Mark my word, this will be the surprise team in the NFL this year. The difference with them is will their offense be able to produce with them losing Sam Bradford? There's a lot of question marks for them on offense, but as far as defense goes, they have one of the best in the NFL, and they're going to continue to compete. But they play in one tough division, no doubt about it. But Rhett, I have to ask you, knowing those top 5 toughies, the Pittsburgh Steelers or Cincinnati Bengals, which one of those makes the playoffs?
Pittsburgh Steelers. You got Big Ben. Antonio Brown. You got it going on.
2 players.
They will. They'll be doing good. They'll be doing good. I got faith in the Pittsburgh Steelers on that one. I'm picking them to go.
Well, I disagree with you. Real shocker here. The Cincinnati Bengals, a team that's been making the playoffs the last several years and improving each year when they get to the playoffs, they've been struggling a bit. One solid regular season team. This team, the Red Rifle in Andy Dalton, they are set. One of the best defenses in the NFL, a phenomenal wide receiver core there, A.J. Green, and so the second guy is slipping my mind here. I'm going to get him, but this team is going to be a team to be reckoned with again. I say out of those 2 teams, the Cincinnati Bengals definitely make the playoffs again. So then as you go down on that list, Rhett, the San Francisco Seahawks is a given. All right, I picked them to be in the Super Bowl out of the NFC. The 49ers or the Arizona Cardinals, which one makes the playoffs?
49ers or Arizona Cardinals? I'd say the Arizona Cardinals.
Wow. Why is this?
Because from what I have seen, okay. Actually, I'm gonna change that up. I'm gonna go with the Madden 2016 prediction. You turn the game on, and their prediction for the playoff Super Bowl is the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh my gosh!
How funny is that?
That is. That's crazy. That's crazy. It is for sure.
I'm gonna have to go with them.
But
for that reason.
Well, isn't that something? Just a little different. Here's the thing. The Arizona I think the 49ers will be better than they were last year. Okay, last year they struggled for the first time in several years to not make the playoffs. Colin Kaepernick started to look like, is he not going to be able to get it done? Was he a little overrated? He has a lot to prove in that 49ers organization. There was no doubt about that. Their defense, as it's getting older, it will be still a top 10 defense for sure, and that will help. But the thing is, Rhett, I'm going to have to – I hate to do this. This is truly a toss-up. This is one tough – I could see both of these teams making the playoffs. This is a tough position to be in. My gut wants to go with the San Francisco 49ers because I think Colin Kaepernick will redeem himself from last year and have a good year. However, losing Coach Harbaugh is a big loss, so I'm going to go with the state that my brother lives in. The Arizona Cardinals out of the Desert West make the playoffs because they have Carson Palmer back and healthy, a Drew Stanton, 2 quarterbacks who played very well, and this defense is one of the best defenses in the NFL, and I think they will get it done. Bruce Arians is a phenomenal head coach. I think that they will continue their success, and they'll make the playoffs again and play well. Arizona Cardinals. Rhett, give me the top 5 weakest schedules in the NFL.
All right. Well, the number 1 weakest schedule in the NFL for 2015 is the Atlanta Falcons.
That's right.
And then, the pity Indianapolis Colts at number 2. Give them a little slap on the wrist. Here's your playoff ticket already.
Thank you.
Go figure. Then 3rd, Houston Texans. Hey, you got your little something going on right there, Kyle. Number 4, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And 28th, Oh, sorry. Number 5.
That's
New Orleans
getting
Saints.
tired, folks.
New Orleans Saints. So, Kyle, never mind. I don't even need to ask this question.
Yeah, because you know the answer to it, baby. That's what we're talking about.
Oh,
Good, you're
yeah.
picking up on
Biased.
the questions, right?
Biased.
But what's the question? Please humor me.
Who is likely to go the farthest out of this 5 rankings?
Oh my gosh, is that even a legit question?
I wasn't even ask it.
And this is without bias, even the Indianapolis Colts. Okay, the Falcons didn't make the playoffs last year. The Texans didn't make the playoffs last year. The Buccaneers are the creamsicles of 30 years ago. The Saints did not. One of those teams made the playoffs last year, except for the Colts, and the Colts were one deflated, cheated team away from making the Super Bowl. So I'll tell you what, the Indianapolis Colts go all the way. I'm picking them to win the Super Bowl. Of course they're going farthest out of all those. And so, no, the New Orleans Saints are not the NFC team they're playing in the Super Bowl. And it's not your Cowboys either. It's the Seahawks. All right? So the Indianapolis Colts go all the way there. I'm thankful for an easier schedule. Thank you, Texans, for not being so good, even though they have the best defensive player probably in all of the NFL, and J.J. Watt, just a freak. That scares me a little bit. But I'll tell you this. The Tennessee Titans are going to be better than the Houston Texans this year. They will finish second in this division. And the Jaguars, still a work in progress once again. Blake Bortles an up-and-coming quarterback, but they still don't have enough in that organization on defense especially. But here's the thing, Rhett. It's all right. You know, the Falcons, here's what stands out to me. 3 out of the 5 weakest schedules are teams out of the NFC East. Or the NFC South. Out of the NFC South, 3 of the 5 teams have the weakest schedule. So something's got to give. Which one of those 3 teams makes the playoffs, Rhett? The Falcons, the Buccaneers, or the Saints?
You know what? I'm going to switch it up. I'll say the Falcons. I do agree with you what you said the other day on our other failure show.
Yes.
The
one that got away.
Yeah, the one that got away. I agree that, Drew Brees, he declined last year, and that's going to be a very big upset for them if it happens again this year. And the loss of Jimmy Graham, that's another big thing. So
devastating for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's my thing with the Saints. Just that. Drew Brees is getting older. He doesn't have as many weapons around him. Losing Jimmy Graham was huge. Their defense is getting progressively worse each year. It was a very solid defense a few years ago. Now it's not. So they will not. The Falcons will win that division and go to the playoffs. Unlike last year, they've got Matty Ice. They've got Julio Jones, Roddy White. By the way, I was thinking of a second receiver. It was not on the Bengals. All I was thinking of was A.J. Green. It was the Falcons having Roddy White and Julio Jones. I expect the Falcons with those weapons. They have a decent defense in that division in the crazy dome in Atlanta. Hot Atlanta. They will make the playoffs. But let me tell you this, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they'll improve a bit, but I don't think it's going to be Jameis Winston helping this team out. I've gone on record saying I think this man will be a bust. I am sticking with it. I will give a prediction right now. I think he'll be the starting quarterback. They invested into him. By week 6, this man will be injured. At the end of the year, his statistics will show bust. I do not see him panning out. That's the scout in me from what I've seen. I saw a lot of Jameis Winston at Florida State. I just do not see it in him. So I see that not panning out, but they will have a decent running game in Doug Martin and Bobby Rainey. That's going to be improved for them. Their defense is getting better, so that will help. But in the end there, I think it's the Falcons out of that division. So, Rhett, there you go. We've talked about our 2 teams' strength of schedules here and where we stand. obviously agree to disagree on your Cowboys, but let's face it, Red. I'm not just being disrespectful. I am looking at it very objectively. All right,
Disrespectful.
And I'm seeing a big injury that just occurred, and I'm seeing an improved Giants team and Redskins team that I expect to compete. And the Eagles, they just stole DeMarco Murray from you. I think they're going to pound you guys. All right, that's just how it goes. You've got some serious rivalries in that division, and it starts with Monday night. Or Sunday night in a couple weeks. Let's see how your Cowboys do at home, a place where they usually don't win, oddly enough. Let's see if they can take care of business against the Giants, a team that I'm picking ahead of them. So let's see how that starts off, Rhett. Will it be the hot Eli Manning MVP-like quarterback, or will it be the more interceptions than touchdowns, Eli Manning? That's going to be the question here with that team. But just like that, Rhett, an hour has gone by, and you know what? I think we successfully got a show in. Fingers crossed, but I think it's going to work just fine, and it'll get up there. So 2 times the charm, huh?
Exactly. 2 times the charm.
Absolutely. It was a fully loaded show. We look forward to next week's show and getting to talk more and more about the NFL season getting closer, the FedEx Cup Playoffs in golf, and the tradition being kept alive with Rhett's NBA offseason. And whatever else gets thrown in there. Maybe some high school stuff. Who knows what it will be. But, nonetheless, that is it for tonight. To recap what was talked about on the show, we discussed the NBA offseason, the FedEx Cup playoffs, and the upcoming NFL season. That is all that we have for tonight. Thank you for tuning into our show. Feel free to leave feedback, as we want to be able to address comments and questions on the show. Tweet at us. Retweet our posts. Whatever it is, we want to get engaged with the listeners. At Kyle M. Newman, at Rhett Hensley, and at Indiana Pacers Talk. We will be back at it next Monday by 8 Eastern Time. That's the hopes. There's no guarantees. When we're back, and we're ready. I'm Kyle Newman.
And I'm Rhett Hensley.
Have a great night, and go sports, but most importantly, go Colts.
Go Cowboys.